Um, I'll just wait a second. I know there's going to be a delay, but welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. And I see I have to wait a second. I know oh, hang on a sec. But welcome. My YouTube has started. There we go. Sorry about that if you heard that. There we go. We're all set. And yeah, I'm going to light some sage here. And hang on one second. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna light. I actually have a mixture of sages here, 3 different sages, and have 2 from BC and one that is from a powwow that is that white sage that most people buy. And then I also have lavender and cedar in here. So it's this beautiful wellness blend that I made out of all these medicines that most of them are gifted to me actually. And they're all for letting go. It's an interesting day. It's a new moon. Mercury is fully in retrograde today. I know it's been creeping up and that pre-shadow has been pretty wicked. Certainly has for me, and I've heard stories from others too. But here we are. So intentions for the new moon, like, that's that time. For this next cycle, what do you feel like you want to see for yourself? And yeah, it's my Quin's birthday. I was going to say my son, but I said my Quin. It's my Quin's birthday today. He would have been 34 today, had he not been violently shot with multiple bullets downtown Toronto for his friend asking someone for directions. For almost 5 years ago now. So so the Picking Up the Pieces music video, I'm going to premiere that at 12:30. So we're going to hop off of here at 12:20-ish and over to my YouTube where the premiere will be happening. Maybe 12:25, I don't know. Anyways, and I wanted to share some stories with you. And, I was going to preview the video and I'm kind of letting spirit lead me like I always do. So that smells so good. I can smell the cedar. Feel free to take some for yourself. Virtual smudge. These actually have antimicrobial qualities and all kinds of other healing properties, especially because it's such a blend. So I'm going to put this back on my altar. Also, you'll see over there, I brought over my son's Himalayan salt lamp because let me know in the chat if he makes an appearance. Sometimes he'll make that thing flash, and he's done it even to the beat before. I don't know if he'll do it. I don't know. It's been a while, but and I have this candle here going that my sister gave me at the vigil, or before when she was here for the vigil. She gave it to me, and she called me this morning. Thank you, Shannon. That meant a lot. So yeah, I wanted to share some stories, mostly related to the music because I after losing my son, I kicked into high gear with self-care as much as I could. By the way, sorry about the lighting, but yeah, Mercury. Anyways, so I kicked into high gear with self-care. I had no choice. And, I reached out for support. Shannon was actually probably one of the first people, or maybe the first person I reached out to. And it's been really a wild ride because with grief, it's not like it's over when someone is lost and you get over it. You don't. But with murder, you go through all kinds of, and it depends on the case. I mean, for me, I went to court. I went to pretrial. And then there were other things that were going on in court. And then there were delays and all kinds of press and about it. It's very public. And because it was a double murder, there were 5 people shot that night. And, it's crazy. And the injustice system does not work. But I don't want to talk too much about that. I want to talk more about Quinn. But the reason I bring that up is because I went to court And the way that I decided that I would get myself through that was to make an album while I was there. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to get funding from a philanthropist who was on my who came to a couple of my events, and also from the Ontario Arts Council. And so I'm really grateful to them, Michelle. And this is terrible, but I have PTSD and I can't remember her last name right. Michelle Shaw. I got it, Michelle Shaw. Because without them, I wouldn't have had the funds to do this, and without all of you who pre-ordered the album. So I'm grateful for all of that. And so throughout that trial, the murder trial was 2018 to 2019, summer 2019, and it started on my birthday, and that's coming up soon, November 28th. So it was pretty devastating. And to get myself through, I made this album because I knew it would help me. But every time I'm helping myself, I'm always aware that I'm helping others, because that's who I am. It's what I do. So the music that I make, the teachings that I share, it all comes from lived experience, and it helps me to share it as much as it helps you to receive it. So, so picking up the pieces. I'm going to really watch the time. I want to make sure I say everything I want to say. And then I have room for more. And so I had the idea, like I was gonna, I was picking a clip from the video, and I'm like, it's only 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes long. And so I was walking around getting ready this morning, and I realized that I had a really cool way that I can give you a preview of that video, because in the video, so I'll tell you about the song actually first, but then I'll tell you about the video. Picking Up the Pieces is the name of the album, and Picking Up the Pieces is a title track. That's the music video that we're premiering at 12:30 p.m. today Eastern time. So, in like 20 minutes. And Picking Up the Pieces is about that. It's about picking up the pieces of your life. But it was really like, for me, I felt like, and I had this sort of vision of like, what is this? What is this I'm going through? And it was like it was like I was on the ground. It was like I was on the ground in pieces, and my business was on the ground in pieces. My life was on the ground in pieces, and I could look down, and there it was. And then it was like, what do I do with that? You know, I don't want to carry all those pieces. And I've heard that, I know there's that thing about the vase. I don't know the full story from another tradition where you put together the vase again with gold, and it's kind of like that, but it's not the same. What I'm talking about, there were parts of who I was that I did not want to carry forward, right? Like there was guilt, there was shame, that there was I don't know, a lot of fear, and just the way that I was running my business, the way that I was doing things there, and just how did I want to live my life, and who was I becoming? Because when you lose someone in that kind of a way to violence, it's whether it's suicide or homicide, it throws you right apart. It tears you apart, literally, and then I have to pick up the pieces. And so what we did with the video, um, and I'll show you. What we did with the video is I was wearing this. This is my little portable bundle. It's a purse that one of a kind that was made by a powwow artisan, and I love it. And it's made of deer skin. Deer is gentle medicine. And then so inside here, so I was carrying this at one of the video shoots, right? The one that we did in Toronto. And the idea that Ultralight Productions came up with for this, which was really cool, was to take pictures from, I have like poster boards with pictures all over them of my son. And their idea was to take these pictures, and I hope you can see them because it's so bright. The lighting is so terrible. And there's sticky tack sticking to the pictures now. I know it'll come off eventually, but I'm trying to get it off so you can see. Because we had these, stuck to the poster board. I'll fix it later. But I'm going to show you, I'll show you 3 of them. And so they were some of my favorite pictures of my son. And I hope, yeah, okay, if I show you them down here, I'm going to make sure there's no glare. Can I bring it closer? Yeah, kind of, but then it starts to get bright. Yeah. So I'll keep it back here. But you'll see these pictures kind of make an appearance in the video because he had me stop along this beautiful little path in this ravine in Toronto here, not far from where I live. And we were as I was picking up these pieces, literally picking up these photos, and it was so beautiful. I get just got goosebumps just saying that. I love it. And this was one of the times when he had one of these really wicked haircuts when that I used to take him to the black barber because I'm you know I'm native and white, and he was his hair was very black. So I would take him to the barber, and they do really amazing job in giving these beautiful cuts. Like there's a pattern there that you can't really see, and then there's the other one here that I have is him standing there in front of a birthday cake. And I just like I remember him when he was this young, and the thing is when he was younger, I mean, I think this is the way it is with all teenagers, right? Once they hit teenagers, it's like yikes. But before that, there's just such sweethearts. And not that he wasn't a big sweetheart after that too, but he went through his troubles, right? Once he hit like around 14. But here he was just in love with his sister all the time. He was in love with his sister, but when they were younger, when she just came, because they're 10 years apart, and so he would have been about 10 or 11 right here. I think he was probably 10 here, and that Kylan was just little, probably one or even less than one. That could have been the birthday. Let me see. I can't. Yeah, yeah. It says Kylan on it, so it's probably from her first birthday. Yeah. So there's that one, and then here too we have. You can totally see how much he just adored his sister. He was so excited for Kylan to come into the world. I'm just gonna cry here for a minute. Yeah, he loved his baby sister so much, and he used to take her swinging. And this one year, which would have been the year after this, I think, he took her to well, we all went on a walk, but it was like we had a major snowstorm. Some of you might remember that. There were like 6 feet of snow on the sides of the of the sidewalk, and between the sidewalk and the street, you couldn't even see the cars on the other side. And we went for a walk in that fresh snow, and literally, like, there was a pathway carved out towards the park, but once you got to the park, it was like you were just you were down here, and the snow's way up here, and here he's taking her on her sled up here, and she's up here, and it was so cool, and so funny that he would do that. And yeah, so I have all these beautiful pictures. I'm so glad that I took a lot of pictures when they were younger, and that there's Instagram now, so that I have some of those too. And I'll show you some of the stuff. And I'm actually going to play some of his music for you on Instagram, um, that he left behind. And I'll share with you because some of those songs, well, they're not songs, they're beats, and really they're samples, like very short. But I'll show you how those relate to, and how they inspired, kind of how Quinn inspired me to make this album, and to make that music. So these were the pieces that you'll see me in the music video picking up, and it's like, yeah, I had to, in a way, like, that's really literally true, because for a while I wasn't, you guys, most of you know that I'm a medium or whatever. I don't call myself that really, but like, I see spirit, I talk to them and all that. And Quinn had showed up for me. He showed up for me a lot. Like I said, the lamp. I don't know if anyone's seen the lamp flash or not. I haven't been watching it, but he was flashing that thing like crazy. And whoops, I'm gonna watch my keyboard. And all the appearances that he's had here. And then at some point I had to sort of back off and not allow access. Like I had to, I couldn't, because it was so painful. It was so painful for me to um to connect with him. And so I had to not for a while. And I guess I had probably a few phases of that during the trial and when things were just really rough. So so now I truly, have picked up all the pieces that I can so far, and also am just continuing to pick up the pieces. And the thing about this pandemic, like I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, like what I went through was like a, a worse version of this, but it was very similar to what people are experiencing on a micro level now, and some not on a micro level. Like there was shock at first, like what's going on? How are we in a pandemic? That can't be real. And then there was, and that's part of it too, the denial. Like, no, this can't be real. Like, I still sometimes, when I see people with masks, it's like, this is so weird. How is this real? And then there's the, besides the shock and the denial, then there's also the grief of like what we've lost. And the thing is, a lot of people don't recognize that you have lost something, even if you haven't lost someone, or even if you haven't lost a job or had a major loss like that in your life. You've lost what might have been. You've lost how things were. We all have. And it's not going back to the same way. So we have to kind of just be here with what we have. And that's hard to do. I've had a lot of sort of self training through losing my parents a long time ago, and other things that have happened in my life where, I've had like 7 major dark nights of the soul and a bunch of minor ones. And they've all changed me. And I've learned every single step of the way, and have I what I talk about is harvesting the teachings and blessings of every experience you have. And it's not like that was meant to be. That to me is like bullshit, that my son was meant to be murdered, right? That's not, no. However, sure, he had his spirit contract, his soul contract. He's done. I was told he's not returning ever again. He's done. He doesn't need to come back as a human any more times. So, like, he's ascended, and for that, I'm grateful. And he does. He's one of my guides. He hangs out with me, helps me, and with these songs, even when I was practicing them, when I was doing that work, he was here with me. Quinn was here. And I could feel him when he comes. I can feel him around me. Like he has this big, big, big energy, just like when he was alive. He has huge energy. And and it's a real blessing. So to have been his mother. So it wasn't always easy, let me tell you. It's not like it was some perfect life, because it sure wasn't. But in the end, like he really, it's amazing. His spirit knew he was on his way out, because he did things to prepare without anyone really, including probably him, knowing that that was happening. And so he was kind of setting himself up, and reunited with much of his family on his father's side. He completed university after dropping out of grade 9, because he hated school. And I was so shocked when he called me up. He's like, I want to go to university and to make music, like as a producer. He was learning to be a producer, and he's like, can you help me? I'm like, of course, because I had an agreement with Quinn as a parent that any time he was doing something to improve his life, to make things better, to make things good for himself, I was on board 100% right there. And so he was here a lot working on music before he left. And I'll show you some pictures of, I'll show you a picture. It's a really cool story that it just sort of showed up on my brand new laptop that I had nothing on. Um, but somehow that was there. So I'll show that to you in the Zoom call later, but that will be at 6 p.m. Eastern. And you'll need to go to Restream for that. So I know we're getting close to time, and I'm also not really watching the chat. Sorry about that, but yeah. Um, it's weird because I kind of have 2 screens, but things have changed with my technology so much. I don't know what's going on. So I also wanted to share, like, there's as a kind of gift to my community, what I'm doing today. I had just launched this program for women, a 13 moon program for women, where we literally are going along with the cycles of the moon and meeting at the new moon and at the full moon for the next 13 moons, which have started, right? We're in, I'm trying to think, yeah, because we have October. So today is the new moon, right? Tomorrow we have a call. And so we've had one full moon pass already, but you can still get into the program until the 20th. And I decided as a gift to my community to offer it today. We'll just like bring it back to the early bird, which is a $300 savings. So if you, it's about grief, and how do you manage all of this stuff that's going on during the pandemic, and rewire your brain for resilience and reawakening, right? And to be on board with Mother Earth and Grandmother Moon throughout this reawakening. So, so I designed this course, or spirit designed it for me, let's just say, as that always happens. It was a spiritual download. And I have 13 songs for a reason. I like to be connected to the cycles of nature. So 13 songs, 13 moons. So every moon we work on one song. And those songs, they're healing. They're all healing songs, whether they're conscious roots reggae infused with hand drumming, or they're just straight up hand drumming songs. They are all healing songs, and they take you on a journey. They were designed like I really thought carefully about how to put that together. Like, what order would I put those songs on the album so that people can go through a journey? And um and so we have I always offer an ebook with the music, and so I know some of you already have it. But for those of you that don't know me, yeah, I always have an ebook that has the lyrics, the stories of the songs, because what I'm doing right now, I'm sharing the story of the song, and that's part of our protocols as Indigenous drummers, and it is to share that story. And just Indigenous people, like, we are storytellers naturally. That's just the way it is. And so, this is part of that story. And so, if you want to get into that 13 moon program, I believe Michelle is popping that into the chat for me right now, wherever you are. And I'm just checking. Oh, yeah. So the coupon code is PUTP, all caps, as in picking up the pieces, PUTP 300. So you'll save $300. It's ridiculous how much it really costs. It's only 39. Sorry, 39. Where's that number coming from? $297 for the entire 13 moons. So that's like over a year for just under $300. And I'm doing that because it's the pandemic. That's another way for me to gift myself, because I will enjoy teaching and sharing those experiences. We'll be doing. I don't like to just like blah blah blah, and I'm just teaching and talking at you, and then you go and learn and do homework. Like, that's not how I roll. We're doing it all together. So we're going to be dancing, singing, meditating, and I'll be offering a group healing session on every new moon, which is what's happening tomorrow. And yeah, it's amazing. The women in there already are just, it's such a beautiful group. And so yeah, we'll close the doors until next year, and then we will offer a seasonal. You can get in for a season every solstice or equinox, but not for the full year until the next year. Fall equinox will be the next offering for that. So yeah, if you want to check it out, the link will be there, but it's medicinesongwoman.com/picking hyphen up hyphen the hyphen pieces hyphen program. So that'll be in the chat for you. But we're gonna get over to YouTube in a minute. So I'm just gonna like I'm just gonna say, like, thank you for joining and being with me in this sacred space, um and with Quinn, and yeah, just honoring Quinn's memory. And I also want to just say, like, I'm putting out prayers today for all of you who have lost anything or anyone. And especially, I'm just a special prayer. I'm going to drop some tobacco later, Sema. That's our way of offering prayer. And I'm going to do that later for all people who have lost someone to violence. because it's not easy, losing, and it's not easy losing anyone, but when it's violence like that, it's very complicated and difficult. So we can honor our loved ones in beautiful ways, and this is what I choose to do on his anniversary dates. Um, One of the special things we'll be doing actually in the program too is on October 31st. Every year I do, we like in Indigenous people, we do a feast for the dead. That's Ojibwe culture that I've been taught. But I and then there's also on my Irish side, I'm Irish and Scottish as well. On my Celtic side, right? There's also a bit of a feast. Like there's always a food offering to the spirits on that day, and it's called Savin in the Old Irish, or in the or Old Irish Gaelic, or Samhain is what most people know it as, and that's a special day. And then we have Celtic New Year. That's October 31st to November 1st, and and then there's Bridget's Day. There's all these dates that are significant to me. I'll create something special around them. That's how I get through things. And so this year, since my daughter can't be with me because she's working, I think right now, and she's living far from me now, not like super far, but far enough. I can It's not like she can just come over. Um, so I decided to do this. This is a way I can honor his memory. So I'm going to let you guys head over to YouTube, and I'm going to ask Michelle to stick that in the chat. But it's because I don't know what it is. I actually don't know the link, but Michelle will have it for you, I think, hopefully. If not, I will see Michelle talking to me in, in some kind of a chat, so I know what to do. Um, but yeah, the Picking Up the Pieces official music video is premiering in 3 minutes. So you can go hit the bell there, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, and share, share, share. Because as a musician in this pandemic, it is just not like it's hard. It's hard. Um, yeah. So, and it takes copious amounts of funds to market music, and I'm not doing that. I don't have those funds. So, but what I do have is I have all of you, and you are what I would call outer resources. We have our inner resources, our higher resources, our outer resources, which I just wrote a blog on actually too. And so, you know, I rely on. I'm counting on you. I'm asking you to share. If you like the video, and I'm confident that you will, because it's a beautifully made video, and the song is very uplifting and healing. And I want to tell you, all of those songs were made in ceremony. So you're going to feel that too. So let yourself feel a prayer of that, and really receive the song when you hear it, and get up and dance when you hear it, and watch it a few times, and give me a like, a thumbs up, and yeah, and I'm going to get out of here now because it's 12:28. So lots of love to all of you, and if be so kind and compassionate and gentle to yourself if you have these losses. um, that's how we get through them, and just support yourself in whatever way you can. Yeah. So miigwech, and yeah, prayers to anyone who has had a violent loss, or any kind of loss, and to all of you going through this. We're all going through this pandemic. So yeah. Bama P, which is see you later, no Ojibwe.